Well, no cheskis are on right now. All right. No. Okay. Today's shir is a schis for Akiva Simcha Fega for the Zivogim for Chav Basmim, the Zivogim for Ahuv Basmim, and the Zivogim for the Vidaria Ben Pnei Peril. Okay. So we started off the Mishnah yesterday, and it was a very basic and clear Mishnah. He gave us a few pointers. If you have a sticker in a tree, meaning totally on a tree, if you have it on, held up two sides by a tree. So now, just one thing, just to clarify, because a few questions asked after Shir, was it's not the sukkah, the walls are made by a tree or made man-made. It's the correct. Thank you. Is the support of each side, meaning the floor is like this and has four sides, right? If two sides are man-made, one side by tree, it's a problem. The only time it's okay, we said zeh haklal, is if you were to imagine the tree is gone and it would still stand on its own, then it would be fine. Imagine you remove the tree, it would still stand on its own, it's fine. So let us do a quick chazar on the Mishnah and then start the Gemara, which is pretty interesting, and it's a story about Rabbi Kiva and Rabbi Gamliel. Okay. Zog the Mishnah. Somebody who makes his sukkah on top of a wagon, on top of a boat. Ksher, it's kosher, like we said. We were pointing out that it's at the high point of the boat, because the higher it is, the more windy it is, which means it's the higher on the boat. The what? The higher on the boat? The higher would be on the high point, yes. It would be on the top deck. Let's say you have a 3-deck boat, the top deck. It could be. We're giving example. Rashi says example because you'll see in the Gemara to explain why. Okay.
You can have everything covered anyway.
What?
It has to be in the top deck. So you can have everything covered.
No. You could be in a mid-bottom deck. Yeah. So, va'oil lo b'yom tov, and you do go onto it on Yom Tov. B'rosh ha'ila, and if it's on top of a tree, or on top of a camel. Ksher, it's kosher, v'ein oil lo b'yom tov, but you don't go on top of any Yom Tov. And like we said yesterday, however, if you do go on Yom Tov, you are yotzeh. You're not supposed to, but you're still yotzeh the mitzvah. Shtayim be'ilan v'achas b'dei adam. If you have two sides of the floor is supported by the tree, and one side is supported by a man-made wall, or let's call it a beam, you're perfect. Or two by man-made beams and one by a tree. Share it's kosher. And again, you do not go onto it on Yom Tov. And now it's interesting. Why does it constantly say oilin? What's the climbing up? It's because back in the olden days, they used to put the sukkah on top of their little houses or whatever it was. They would climb up onto the sukkah. It was not like, imagine any bar park house. It's not like it would be in the driveways. It would be on a second floor porch or something like that. Shalosh b'dei adam v'achas b'ilan kshera. However, we have a case where three sides of the floor are held up by man-made beams and one by a tree. Kshera, it's kosher v'oil lo b'yom tov, and you could go on top of it into it on Yom Tov. Zeh klal, and now it's going to explain why. This is the klal. Kol sheyinot ilan v'yachol lam b'fnei atzma. In any case where you were to remove the tree, if it could stand on its own, meaning that it would not collapse, the floor would not collapse. Ksher, it's kosher, v'oil lo b'yom tov, and you do go onto it on Yom Tov. So now, we're going to start the Gemara, and the Gemara is going to be pretty straightforward. There's only one part that I would point out. It's a very simple story. Rabbi Kiva built the sikkah, and Gamliel said, when it was blown away, I asked him, where's the sikkah? It's a very simple story. However, there's going to be 2 points. There's going to be two things where we say kuli alma. Everyone agrees this, everyone agrees that. There's a wind that is called ruach hamatsuya biyabasha, which means a standard wind. You go outside, you have a regular wind. That's a ruach matsuya biyabasha. Everyone agrees that if you cannot withstand that little breeze, then it's not a kosher sukkah. Why? It's so weak that it's not even ara. It's like nothing. Or a regular breeze or a strong breeze of land, meaning strong wind, something like you have a storm and there's a strong wind, that, a gust, whatever it is, that everyone agrees that if it does withstand it, then it's good. And that's pretty much it. It's going to throw in a middle. One thing is going to throw in about the ocean, super strong breeze, but that's not, we're going to go through it and we're going to see it inside. It's very basic, very simple. Mani Masnisin. So now, who's the author of this Mishnah? right now we have a Mishnah. The Mishnah says all this stuff. Want to know who's the one that authored this Mishnah? Rabbi Kiva here, it's Rabbi Kiva. How do we know? The Sanya, because we have in a Bryce, and like we once explained, Bryces are pretty much like Mishnahs. They just didn't make it into the book. They didn't make the cut for whatever reason. However, these were still written by Tanaim. A Bryce was by a Tana, and many times the Bryces would explain for us what the Mishnah is saying. Meaning, when they made the Mishnah, when Yehuda Nasi made the Mishnah, he wanted it to be as short form as possible, so that way you would chap it, meaning people back then were able to read the Mishnah and were able to chap all the things that they had to. We today's days cannot. So we have all these brises that are a little bit longer form, which explain what the Mishnah intended to say. So, Mani Masnisin, who authored this Mishnah? Rabbi Kiva, it's Rabbi Kiva. The Sanya, because we have in a brisa, it's going to clarify. Rabbi Gamliel Paisel. Rabbi Gamliel says you can't do it. Rabbi Kiva Machshir, and he says it is kosher for Sukkah. Ma'aseh Rabbi Gamliel, Rabbi Kiva, Shahayu Ba'in Besvina. There was a story. Rabbi Gamliel and Rabbi Kiva were on a boat. Amad Rabbi Kiva v'asa Sukkah, B'rosh Hasvina. Rabbi Kiva went and he put a sukkah on top of the boat. Now, I think it was Rashi that said that obviously he put on top because had there been an option to put it a little bit lower, he would have done it there because it would be more secure. He had no option, so he put it all the way on top. And he felt that that's good enough. The next day, a strong wind came, and it ripped it up and blew it away. Akarta, it like destroyed it. Amar Rabbi Gamliel told him, Akiva, hechan sukkasech. Where's your sukkah? You know, like, vidan seker, like you're coming here, you're putting up a thing. Why do you do it? We know you're in the ocean. There's strong winds always in the ocean. You know it's going to go. Where is it? Sort of like, wouldn't want to say championing him, but wie is this?
You could have learned it another way. Like if he says sekusach means it was kosher at one point, and then it became buso.
Yeah, but he's saying according to you, where's your seker? Not to him, it's not. Omar Abai, which is it's a good deal. Omar Abai says. Now Abai is explaining what this Bryce is saying. Omar Abai, the Kule Alma. Everyone agrees. Everyone agrees in a case that it cannot withstand a regular breeze on land. Lo klomi, it's not anything. Lo klomi means it's not even arai. The sukkah has to be somewhat of an arai structure. It's not even enough to make it to the cut. Now, an interesting point that I one time saw on the Kuli Alma. Who is the Kuli Alma? Rabbi Kiva and Rabbi Gamliel. Once you have two Tanam, they both agree to it, and there's no one else going against them. Kuli Alma. We're everybody. It's an incredible thing. So now, the second thing is, however, if this can withstand a super strong wind, the Abasha, Kuli Alma, again, everyone agrees, Kuli Alma loy pligi diksher. Everyone agrees that it's kosher. So now, if it withstands a super strong wind, it's kosher. If it does not withstand a regular breeze, it's not kosher. Everyone agrees to that. So now, ki pligi, when do they argue? The middle option, when it withstands a breeze, but does not withstand the super strong wind of the land. When it can withstand the regular breeze of the land. However, it cannot withstand the strong wind of the land. So it's sort of the middle option. It withstands the breeze, does not withstand the strong wind. Rabbi Gamliel savar Sukka Daf keva binon. Rabbi Gamliel holds that it needs to be keva. It needs to be a stronger, more permanent structure. And since it cannot withstand a ruach metzuya b'yam, it's not worth anything. Now, what I said before was that it's going to throw in, the Gemara is going to throw in the water, because a ruach metzuya of ocean is the same equivalence, Rashi says, to a she'ena metzuya b'yabasha, meaning a super strong land wind is the same as a regular ocean wind. That's it. So it's using this. Imagine he said just a strong land wind. He's just trying to bring a point of keva. Rabbi Kiva sovereign, Rabbi Kiva holds Sukka Daf Arabinan. A sukkah needs to be a more temporary structure. And since it can withstand a ruach metzuya of land, it is kosher. So, quick recap outside. Rabbi Kiva and Rabbi Gamliel were on a boat. Rabbi Kiva put a sukkah on top. It got blown away. Rabbi Kiva says that everybody agrees if it can withstand the breeze, if it cannot withstand the breeze, not kosher. If it could withstand a powerful wind, kosher. When are they arguing? The middle ground. They're arguing that if it could withstand a breeze, but not a strong wind, Rabbi Gamliel says it needs to be able to withstand it. Therefore,
isn't it supposed to be a dir sara?
no, because Rabbi Gamliel holds that it needs to be keva.
What does dir mean?
A more permanent structure does not mean. That doesn't mean.
Last for 7 days?
Yeah, no, they both. Rabbi Kiva also needs to last for 7 days. Technically, it doesn't have to, but it needs to be a more permanent structure. There's different levels. It's not black and white. There's no black.
How keva needs
No, there's no black and white when it comes to this because there's a lot of gray area. Keva, arai.
has to be.
There's no black and white. The Rabbi Kiva holds arai.
Can't.
I know.
Why buy kulam like leaky?
Yeah.
That's not black and white.
What do you mean? Kule amal pli? Because it's because
There's
it's
a certain amount of.
because it's so not. It's not even arai. Doesn't even make the cut.
Where's that line? Is it by
That's what they're arguing with the line is.
So he's
Say
arguing.
they both hold
To
keva.
what degree? Both agree it's great. It's not close to the right. Weaker side's the stronger.
Shaya. By the kule ama loy pligi is because you're looking to know. Very good. The reason is very simple. So wherever you get that question from, I'm joking. That's the new line. Okay. Bottom line is, let's just wrap it up and we'll schmooze right after. Let's wrap this part up. Fine. Now we have weiter, perfect. Now, bottom line is, why did we bring this? So Rabbi Gamliel says it needs to be keva, so therefore it needs to have that strength. Rabbi Kiva says it does not. Now, why did we bring this whole story and everything? To let us know who authored the Mishnah. Because in our Mishnah, it does not have to be keva, and it's kosher like Rabbi Kiva. That's the whole point of bringing this Gemara was, the Brisa is a proof for who wrote this Mishnah. Now quickly inside, Mani Masnisin. Who authored the Mishnah? Rabbi Kiva, Yitzhak Rabbi Kiva, the Sanya. Because we learned in the Brisa, Rabbi Gamliel Paisel. Someone who makes a sukkah on top of a boat, Rabbi Gamliel passes it. Rabbi Kiva, Machshir. Rabbi Kiva is Machshirit. Ma'is Rabbi Gamliel, Rabbi Kiva. Shahayu B'am B'Sfina, they were going on a boat. Omad, Rabbi Kiva v'asa sukkah b'reish hasfina. Rabbi Kiva went and put up a sukkah on top of the boat. L'machar nishba ruach v'akarta. The next morning came a strong wind and it tore it up and destroyed it. Amar Rabbi Gamliel. Rabbi Gamliel says, Akiva heikachan sukkasich. Akiva, where's your sukkah? It got blown away. Amar Abai is explained. Everyone agrees a sukkah that cannot withstand a small breeze on land is not worth anything. Why? Because it doesn't even make the cut of arai. It's not even an arai. It's nothing. However, if it could withstand a not regular, meaning a super strong wind on the land, everyone agrees, kosher. Ki pligi, when do they argue? When it can withstand a breeze on land, and when it cannot withstand a super strong wind on the land. Rabbi Gamliel Savar, Sukka Daf Binan. Rabbi Gamliel explains the reason why he says it's no good is because it needs to be keva. And since it cannot withstand a regular wind in the ocean, which is a strong wind of the land, it's not worth anything for Rabbi Gamliel. For Rabbi Kiva Savar, Sukka Daf Arai Binan, the sukkah needs to be a diras arai. The kiva di chol lamed bruch mitzuydi basha chair, and since it can withstand it, it's kosher, which is how we know that our Mishnah was authored by Rabbi Kiva. Rabbi Isai, keep doing the chazara. Have a wonderful night, and thank you for making the trip out.